In a past video I showed you the post-driving trailer from Walters Fencing in Tamworth, and it's a really impressive piece of kit with lots of customised adaptations. Link up above if you haven't seen that video. This week I'm showing you their intermediate post trailer, and it's got an equal amount of innovations, and it makes the job of running out your fence lines a one-pass operation and super quick. Let's get into it. Well, James, this looks like a well set up trailer as well, mate. I can't wait to see the innovations that you've got on this one. Can you walk me through them, please?
Yes, sweet, certainly can. So we'll set it all properly up in a second, but this is our air hammer lifter for lifting our air hammer up to take all of the hard work out, because who wants to work hard? Yep. These are our PR25 post racks. We've got 3 of them here on the trailer. And this was the product that first really opened up our fencing system, and they're probably one of our best selling bits of gear. And the reason why is you have all of your posts in a rack, you run your wires through, tie to the strainer, get to the end, and all of your wires are pre-threaded, ready to go. You just got to strain them off. Apart from barbs, all your planes run through the racks. You've got a roller at the front here to redirect the wire onto the rack from our spinners. We've got our Blue Jenny 2 spinners here in our stacker, and we'll be setting up our air hammer very shortly. This is the March and Engineering pickup post driver with our little bespoke guide, air hammer guide we call it, and it allows you to drive regular and extra large posts at the same time and control the twist because the post is caged in there.
This is a fantastic development, mate, because when you're using an air hammer on steel posts, it's very hard to get them under control. They do tend to twist around on you a bit, and if you need to control them, this lets you do it as you're driving, doesn't it?
Correct, yes. Yeah, it solves the functions of driving to multiple different sizes of post, because the blade allows it to just fill out to wherever it needs to
go where it needs to.
And another advantage is that your top hole is accessible, so you can have a top wire or an insulator, even and still drive the post. Yep.
If you're one of those people that likes to put wires in post.
Yes, that's right. That's a whole nother.
And that's a big if. We had a lovely argument about that one on the channel a few months back, and I'm sure people are still reeling.
Yes, that one will be argued about when you and I are in our graves, Tim.
I think so. Yeah. All right, let's get into it, mate.
Sounds good. So what we've done here is we've got our trusty, many used measuring marking stick, and we've just marked on the post with an X for the top barb and then a straight line for the plain wires. And if it was to be a electric fence, we'd do a straight line with 2 dots that represent a pulse, or your heart stopping when you get zapped 2 meters from the energizer. Rightio, so our first task for this fence is to set our line, and we'll do that with our top barb. Usually we'd tie the barb directly on in the position it needs to go, so you don't have to come back. In this case, we're building a small compound for a government agency where they're doing a weed killer trials, and everything's in a small area. So to make life easier, we're just going to attach our sight wire at ground level to a set of fence line solution strainers, and that will allow us to come back and set it to the correct height once we get there. So our sight wire will be on the ground the whole way around. We're not having to step over or climb over a high wire. Air hammer lifter has a little attachment that we've welded onto the top of the March and air hammer, and that just screws in like so. Then we'll get out the Jesus tool. just like that. What we're doing here, Tim, is we're just deducing which hole we can use for our rack. So there'll be one hole that's blocked by the post rack system. So we just need to make sure it's not a hole that we have to run a wire through. So we'll check that against our marking stick. So that's our bottom one. So we can drop it down to about there because that is our hole that has wire in it. So we can go to this hole here. And we confirm. Yep, that's all good. Now it's just a matter of filling the rack.
You don't want to be in the wrong hole.
I was about to say, it's never good going in the wrong hole.
No, that's it.
Boys, work harder. So what we're doing here is we're going to use our wire needle to thread the wire through the posts, and the needle just helps run the wire nice and straight, makes it a heck of a lot easier than trying to do it by hand. So Dave's up on the trailer just to help guide it through if it snags on anything. We've got a little bit of thinking to do here. We have to go over the barbin on this side of the stay in order to get the wires in the right position. There's a lot of argument about how many times you need to wrap off on your termination knot. We do 2 or 3. 2 is more than adequate. Sometimes people prefer the look of 3. We're doing 3 on this job. However, it would have been quite adequate just with 1, because the strength of your termination knot is in the first 2 bends, not the wrap off after that.
Right, Clancy, you guys are getting the hinge joint ready while James gets the planes ready.
Yep.
And the idea is you're going to run all of this at the one time.
Yes, everything all at once. Aside from the barb, which we ran out earlier to get a sight.
So there's a bit of faffing around with setting this up, but once you get going,
You're
it's
done.
going to make things a lot more neat and efficient for you.
Yeah, it's pretty much you get to the end and then you strain your wires, make sure you post it plumbed, and you're done. You don't have to go back and forward.
Sounds like a plan to me. Only hassle I saw all day with this setup was going around corners on this really small fencing job. Perhaps a vertical mount for the mesh roller might help overcome this. James, Clancy, thanks very much for having us out today. We've seen some fantastic innovations in your fencing setup and your rig, and got some wonderful tips and tricks which we'll be sharing over the next couple of weeks. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you guys.
You too, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
No
See you next
worries.
time, mate.
Oh, absolutely. And don't forget, guys, if you live in the New England area and you're after some really good fencing equipment, or you just need a darn good fence put up by really nice guys, hello. If you like this sort of content, hit the little subscribe button down there, give it a thumbs up, and there's plenty more content like this and more on timthompson.ag. Until we meet again, boys, good luck down the fence line.
Thanks,
Tim.
Tim.
Appreciate
See you
it.
next time.
Cheers, mate.
See ya.